Hello and welcome to another episode of the Tejano Traveler. Today we're taking a look through the Texas Brazos Trail highlights. Everything you can see if you follow the Texas Brazos Trail. We'll start off with the church at New Sweden, which is one of the prettiest churches in Texas. I mean, look at that spire. Then we're rounding up into Hutto, which is the home of the Hutto hippos, where if you roam around the neighborhood, you will spot Huttos, hippos everywhere. It's a cool little thing that they have. Then we're at Inner Space Caverns, just north or south of Georgetown. It's a cool little place to go see some caves and stalactites and stalagmites. It's pretty well maintained, open year round. It's kind of spooky, but at the same time, you're on a guided tour, so you don't feel that fright of being left behind. It's definitely a place to go check out. Then we're up in Salado for the old Salado College, which used to house the women's college, the university, a school, and everything in between. Now we're at Mother Neff State Park, which has what do we call those things? An underpass? A cliff dwelling, where they would use it as their home because it was nice and breezy. An overlook, that's what we'll call it. It's where the Native Americans used to hang out and while they were traveling around. It was a good place to hike, and they had water nearby and everything that they needed. It's a well-maintained shelter, which I always like. Now we're at the National Waco Woolly Mammoth site, where some kids long ago, in the 50s, I think, found a mammoth bone. And they investigated and they found out there was a whole bunch of other ones there. Now it's a park that you can go visit, and this is Jacob's Ladder. Some stairs that lead up the bluff right next to the river. I think it's the Brazos River. I always get all my rivers confused. But Cameron Park is a nice little greenway along the park. There's plenty to do, plenty to see. It's kind of cool just seeing all the greenery that there is in Waco, and they have all these little statues along the trail. Now I'm at Cameron Park Zoo. It's my friend the alligator. There's a crocodile. I always get them. No, it's an alligator, definitely. There are rhinos and other creatures there that you can just look at. I always like taking pictures with bronze statues. I had my lunch at True Jamaica, which is my favorite restaurant in Waco. The food is delicious. It's authentic. Those bananas are delicious. That fish was succulent, perfectly made. Then you can stop by the Dr. Pepper Museum, where you can find out all about Dr. Pepper and his inventions, including a Godzilla drinking Dr. Pepper. It's a good place to find out about the history of stuff. There's also the Texas Rangers Hall of Fame, which has Lone Ranger stuff, if you're into that. It has a lot of interesting information about the creation of the Rangers and where they're going and what their duties are and how they managed to survive in these dates and times. And there's also the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, which has everything about sports in Texas. And Texas is a big sporting state. You have your Cowboys, you have your Cougars, your Longhorns, your Aggies, and then you have all of your Friday night football stuff. So it definitely has a lot to look at. At Baylor, you have the Mayborn Museum. It's a pretty cool combination of cool museum, oddities, and children's museum. You got a lot of nice little exhibits that you can look at of animals that lived in the area, especially back when Texas was an inland sea. They have some of the Waco mammoth bones that you can walk on top of to see how it is that they're doing their research. It's my favorite part of the museum. I could spend all day just looking at these bones. Like I said, it's a good place to take the whole family. If you are looking for something educational to do, this is definitely the place to go. Then I'm at the Confederate Reunion Grounds, State Historic Site, where troops used to meet for their eventual defeat. But it's a park I needed to stop at since I'm trying to see all the Texas Brazos Trail highlights. And it's a pretty park. It's nice and green, and there's plenty of place to pull over for a picnic and take a look around the area. I like the creek area the most, where they have some old ruins of bathhouses and springs, and where people used to take the waters in and cool themselves down before air conditioner became a thing. And that was a weird little transition there. I suck at editing. It's also next to Fort Parker State Park. This park has a big lake where you can go fishing, canoeing, rowing, whatever you need to do in the water. It's got little inlets here and there where you can take in the different biomes that the place has. There's ponds, there's swamps, there's lakes, creeks. It's all fun. Now here we have Fort Parker, or a recreation of the old historic Fort Parker, made from actual timbers and everything. It's a cool place to come and visit if you're looking to take in a historical fort. I like the way the place is laid out. If I was rich, I would lay it out like that. The Fort Parker State Cemetery, where a lot of the people from Fort Parker are buried. There really isn't a town anymore, so this is all we pretty much have of the Fort Parker area. And then if you go south to Marlin, Texas, you can go to the Marlin Mineral Waters. This used to be very famous back in the day, back before vaccines and stuff, where people got sick, you just had to go in and take the waters. In other words, drink stinky water and soak in stinky water and hope that it made you better. But I grabbed some to take with me in case I ever get sick. Now I'm at the Fanthorpe Inn State Historic Site, which was a cool little place to visit. It's educational, it's historic. I like little educational and historic places, so it was well worth a stop. And then the world's largest teapot. Yeah. There's the First Lady of A&M, Rebel. She's so cute. She's so cute. The Aggie Bonfire Memorial, to remember those lost during the bonfire tragedy at A&M. And then the class ring. And Shane, I love Shane. He's my favorite guy. I want to be him when I grow up. At the Texas Bucket List store. And there's also the Bush 41 Library, where you can come and learn all about Bush 41 and his terms and pretend to be president and ordering tacos and all that cool stuff that you would do if you were president. I'd be a tyrant. I'd be a terrible tyrant. Like, absolutely horrible. But it's a cool museum. I love visiting presidential libraries. This one you can actually sit in the Oval Office, so I was happy about that. Of course, there's a statue of Bush right there. It's pretty tall. Then I stopped at the Museum of the American GI. I love military museums. There's always something to see, something to do. You always find something new and different. I love looking at tanks. I'm a pacifist by nature, but I love looking at all that stuff. Then we have the Brazos Valley Museum, which is home to some pretty cool little scientific and historical artifacts. They have some fossils, some bones, some crystals, gems. They have some stuff that are hands-on areas, perfect for children if you have any, or nieces and nephews if you're ever stuck with them. But I like little museums like this. Then I stopped at the Texas Cotton Gin Museum, but I learned more about a cotton gin than I ever should know about. Yeah, there's tiny little seeds in there on the cotton, which caused a lot of trouble apparently, and this solved that problem. Then I'm in Dime Box for the world's biggest dime in a box. Yeah, it's Dime Box, Texas, everybody. Still, I'm glad they did something quirky and weird for their city. I'm all for it. Our final stops are at the Giddings Wendish Museum. Then I stopped over for some barbecue at Myers, which is amazing barbecue. It's delicious. So stop there if you can. And we're back in Hutto to celebrate my Hutto hippos. Anyways, I hope you like the Texas Brazos Trail. Make sure to take it. There's a lot to see on it. And I hope you like and subscribe. Bye-bye.